Good morning students. Myself Shilpa, lecturer in English. Today we are going to discuss about 9th unit of English chapter, that is I believe that books will never disappear, which was it was on basically interview by Robert Alifano and George Louis Burgess. Interview, we can the concept of in the concept of interview we can face so many situations. For example, firstly job, secondly in Kannada we can call it as a sandarshana. Here Robert Alifano, who is an interviewer, who is interviewing George Louis Burgess. In this he can ask so many questions regarding some elements. For example, about Burgess' mother, secondly about the blindness, thirdly poetry and metaphors, and lastly about books, means importance of books, and also literature. Let us discuss one by one. Initially, for the first question which was raised by Alifano was, what was the first literary reading of Burgess? He says that Grimm's fairy tale from his father's library. That is why Burgess was educated by his father's library. Then he asked question to the Burgess to describe about his mother Donna Lenora. For that question, he describes that his mother was an extraordinary person who has no enemies at all. She is a good woman and also gracious woman. After that, he generalized the concept of mother with all children. As we do the same mistake regarding to our mothers, means all children abused their mothers when she was living, means we gave deserved happiness for her, as we also did the same thing. And afterwards, after the death of her, when she ceased to be live, we can ready to do for anything, means we can do with the sun and moon also. And finally we realized then only after her death we gave only deserved happiness. This is about the mother of Burgess. She was a Donna Lenora. She is an extraordinary person. Next question which was raised by Alifano was blindness. Burgess became blind after several years of his journey in a lifestyle. When Alifano wanted the definition of blindness, he gave a beautiful definition for that. What was the definition? Means it is a way of life. Blindness is a way of life. He take that blindness in a positive manner. As we observed in the lesson, he only saying that even though he is a blind, still he is buying the books and filling his house with books. Including this, he also says that we have to accept the life as it comes in a positive manner, not in a negative manner. And for example, he also told that misfortunes, humiliations and discards were given to us for a purpose. There is a purpose behind that. God has a reason behind all those things. That is why the God given us a raw material as a clay. We have to shape our own art. We have to shape our own, whatever it may be. That is why Alifano also quote the line which was written by Homer in Odyssey: God's wrought, spun and skein ruin for man that yet to be born. Which means moving all this in this world which was developed by God. Means God has the capacity to prepare and rotate and also ruin, means destroy. He has the capacity to do all the things. What is our task? Means as a human beings, we have to accept the situations whatever it comes in our life. That is why these burgers take this blindness as a positive manner. And also he dreamt of Library of Alexandria was burned. Its countless volumes were also burnt. Through this dream, he is going to create a history of books. Let us discuss history of books later. In spite of that, we can go through the another point. It is about the poetry. He defined poetry, means Burgess defined poetry in a very beautiful manner. As we all know that poetry is one of the genre in literature. Genre means type of literature. As we all know that poetry is not a common man's language. It is quite different from prose text, drama text and also novel. As we all know that poetry is so essential, so intimate, and we cannot define it without oversimplifying it. It may be attempt of color yellow and the concept of love and the fallen leaves in an autumn season. These are all described in poem, but poetry. Poem is not a poem. Poem is not a poetry. Poem and poetry are quite different from one another, because poem is nothing but more than series of symbols. Poem is nothing but more than series of symbols, but poetry happens in a different manner, because poetry, when the poetic act takes place, when the writer reads it, when the reader reads it, that is why I told you poetry happened in slightly different manner, and he came to the conclusion about the poetry is that it is an aesthetic act which cannot be written by everyone. And also in poetry we can he says that poetry is a mysterious act and which cannot be explainable. We can find precise words in poetry. That is why it is considered as a mysterious. What is mysterious means agaupyate in Kannada. See, mysterious, poetry is a mysterious act. He also says it is an act of aesthetic. For this, we have to find a precise words in this poem. For this, he wanted to prove this. He gave a example of Emily Dickinson, who gave a definition or who written in his one of the poems, Emily Dickinson's poem, that was the quiet dust was gentlemen and ladies. The quiet dust was gentlemen and ladies. The idea of a dust, and which means the idea of death. Here dust refer to death. Gentlemen and ladies, as we all know that, we means people of the world. As we all know that people of the world will going to end their life one day. But here she quote that the quiet dust was gentlemen and ladies. Students observe the wordings of her, which was very special. The idea of a dust, and also she uses gentleman in the place of gentleman and also ladies. In the place of gentleman And ladies, if she uses people of the world or men and women, it would be failed as in poetry. It would be failed as in poetry, but she gave a magic event or magic power to that line. That is why he quotes that line from Emily Dickinson. He considered that poetry is a mysterious and unexplainable. We can find precise words and also elicit emotions. The idea is cliche in the aspect of poem. After the concept of poetry, he introduces the metaphors. What is metaphors? As we know, metaphors are one of the figures of speech in English. Poet's task is to discover the metaphors. Poet's task is to discover the metaphors. Here he is giving an example of essential metaphors. For example, he gave time and river, death and sleep, life and dream, and women and flowers. These are the essential metaphors which was given by Burgess. But including these metaphors, these four metaphors exist in any literature, not only English but also any literature. But Burgess says that poet's task is to discover the metaphors, even though they are already exist. Even though they are already exist, his task is to discover new metaphors to the readers. This is about your poetry, which is very intimate and also essential. It is also considered as a aesthetic act. Remember the point. It is a aesthetic act. After this, Burgess going to describe about the history of books. As I already mentioned you, he dreamt of burning the Library of Alexandria. For that, Alifano says, are you wanted to recreate the history of books? For that question, Burgess says that in the writing of Spengler, he described the books are the most and essential inventions of a man, because it cannot be, books are not be irreplaceable for every generations. That is why in Spengler, in his book Decline of the West, note that Spengler, I am repeating, Spengler in his book History of Books, he write the worth and value about the books. And also he note down that there is a author intention in writing every book, as we know about that. But when he starts writing a book, it may be reached beyond author's intention. But readers always expect more from writers, because they want to new things for their entertainment. While they reading the books, they expect more from readers. But Burgess says that books are the most astounding invention of a man. Here it is books. It is a most astounding invention of a man, where it cannot be irreplaceable for all the time. Even though books are full of errors, and also we can reject author's intention, but books plays a sacred role, or significant role, or important role in our lives, because we cannot reject. Even though in the modern, we can have now modern modes of communication like internet, mobile, and also laptops in the place of books, but they are not equal to these books. That is why he says that in the title itself, the books, I believe that books will never disappear. And also, some of the elements of our body is an extension for something. For example, telephone is an extension of our voice. Telescope and microscope are extension of our eyesight. And a plug and a sword are the extension of our arms. But only the books is a man's imagination and memory for all the time. Remember, only the books. That is why books are considered as a most astounding, which means very powerful invention of a man, which is a great imagination and memory. After this, about the history of books, he is revealing about the literature. What is literature? As we all know that literature is not restricted to one language. We can find literature in all the languages. Keep it in mind, literature, according to Burgess, literature is a dream, but it is a controlled dream. He gave a very beautiful definition about the literature, that what is literature? Literature is a dream, but it is a controlled dream. When we wove literature as if it was everything, literature is what we are, what we have been, what we will be. Keep these 3 points in mind. What is literature means? Literature is what we are, what we have been, and what we will be. Present, past, and future. These 3 are nothing but a literature. Literature, our dreams are a sequence of a series, but literature is nothing but our dreams, but it is a controlled dreams. As we all know that we preserved literature, our memories, are our what happens in our lives, it can be preserved in the form of a books. Then only this literature will be get a very great time of everything. After that, Burgess says that if history disappears, then the books surely disappears, because books are the great memories of all century. And as I already told you about the metaphors, these are the 5 important metaphors. For example, time and river, life and dreams, death and sleeps, stars and eyes, flowers and women. These are the essential metaphors which are found in all the literature. But when we talk about the books, he gave the conclusion that books are the great invention of the man. It cannot be replaceable. Even though we have a modern modes of communication, it cannot be replaced by any of the modern modes of communication. That is why in the last line of the chapter, he says that if books disappears, then surely man will disappear. If man disappears, history also disappears. That is why we have to recreate the history. recreate the history through the memories of books. See, when we summarize this chapter, in this chapter, we have firstly Burgess, which was revealed about his mother, about Donna Lenora, and secondly he revealed about the blindness. As we think about the blindness, we thought it was a negative thing, means our life would be end. But here Burgess take it as a positive manner and also told that we have to accept the things whatever it comes. Misfortune and humiliations, embracements which are come in our life, we have to accept it and keep it in mind. We have to transmute them. We should not keep it in us. We have to transmute them. And afterwards, we have a great idea. It is about poetry, which is very essential, intimate, and also aesthetic act. Afterwards, we are here. It describes about the history of book, and finally literature. This is about I believe that books will never disappear. It is an interview between Robert Alifano and George Louis Burgess. I think you all understood the lesson. Thank you. All the best for your exams.